Alright, testing. Lesson 2. Alright, Subcourse Edition 08 and 0D0455, Introduction to Simplified Test Equipment, Internal Combustion Engine, Aipd. Lesson 2, correct performance, test faulty installation procedure for the gasoline diesel engine. Task 1, identify correct procedure performing testing faulty isolation gasoline engines. Self-study environment, give the Subcourse test without assistance within 2 hours. No reference, no supplementary reference are needed for this test, but access to TM949105712P will be helpful. Introduction. First level of the subcourse cover the components of the operation of the simplified testing engine test equipment and internal combustion engine test set. Lessons cover the performance of test fault isolation procedure for the gasoline diesel engine. As well, it was tasted introduction lesson 1 today. Spark ignition, gasoline compression ignition, diesel engines are extremely complicated. The most modern test equipment available must be troubleshooted. However, the maintenance of the personnel does not know how to use the test properly. They will either damage the test set vehicle to get an erroneous reading, or unable to properly troubleshoot and repair the vehicle. Purpose of the lesson of the teach for the proper use of the test set. They'll troubleshoot both gasoline and diesel engines. A simplified testing internal combustion engine test set. Hookup power procedure. To begin with the hookup of the test set with the vehicle batteries of the power up procedure will be discussed. Caution: do not disconnect or disconnect the vehicle test meter while the engine is running. Connect the P1 power cable to the W5 to the J1 to the vehicle test meter before connection leads with the battery. First, ensure the pull off the power switch of the vehicle test meter is in the off position. Connect the power 1 or power cable to the W5 to jumper 1 the vehicle test meter. Disconnect the red clip. Leave the W5 positive number 1 positive terminal 24 volt to direct current and 12 volt DC power such as battery clip back clip lead to the negative terminal of the battery. No, if the vehicle test meter indicates to touch some of the vehicle with the master switch off the vehicle test meter is on, the spark may occur with some of the vehicle accessory may turn on, the vehicle test meter power switch may pop off. This can happen on the vehicle with the master relay with the negative battery cable. The sparking won't occur on the vehicle test meter of the vehicle, but it will interrupt the testing. You can prevent it by setting the vehicle test meter down so only the rubber feet touch the vehicle, or by doing all tests with the master switch on. Once the vehicle test meter has been properly connected, the vehicle batteries power the vehicle test meter with accomplished by placing the pushing on power switch of the vehicle test meter to the on position. Display the vehicle test meter shown in the 4 digital 8s approximately 2 seconds within changing the 4 dashes. And does the vehicle test meter show proper indication is yes, then proceed the next step. Run confidence test. See page 8, paragraph 3A is displayed on the vehicle test meter. Does not give proper identification. Refer to TM949105712P. With the app, the vehicle test meter has been powered up. Have received proper indication. Run the confidence test. Procedure following the running confidence test we'll discuss earlier in paragraph 8, paragraph 3A. If they are outlined in TM. Note the procedure performing power test of the spark ignition engine will cover the vehicle test. Power performs the power test. The spark ignition engine, interrupting the fire of 4 out of every 5 cylinders with the throttle wide open, and this allows each of the cylinders to receive full flow of fuel air, but allows the engine to operate with the power to develop power balances against engine friction, pumping losses per accessory load. The power test will run the mode for at least 40 seconds to stabilize operation, making measurement the engine will work hard and may even backfire while stabilizing. B. Vehicle identification number. Enter the vehicle with the identification number of the various style. 60 for the test. Select press release for the test button with the prompting with the U for the prompting UEH to appear with the display. UEH prepare to display dial with the vehicle identification number. Test select switches. Press release test button. Vehicle test meter display show the vehicle identification number. Proceed with the testing if it does not display the vehicle identification number for the TM. Alright, connect cables. Connect P1 to transducer cable to W2 for the J2 on the vehicle test meter, then connect the P2 the transducer cable to W4, P1 ignition adapter cable to W3. Ensure that the hookup of the perform with the corners with the instruction presented with the paragraph 2A with the page 2 and 3. Be sure that the back clip of the lead with the connected with the good ground engine idle with the dial with the 10 with the test select switch to the press test button engine idle within the specification outline with the vehicle TM. Proceed with the check vehicle test meter interrupt the circuitry operation described in paragraph 2D on page 25. Caution: operation vehicle test meter interrupt circuitry is checked before performing any power test and prevents possible engine damage. Caution: not overspeed the engine during the following test. Interrupt should occur at before 3,500 RPMs. Caution: not perform more than 2 power tests in succession. Check with the interrupt circuit operation dial 05 with the test select switch. Do not press the test button. Increase the engine speed slightly with the 3,500 RPMs. Hold the speed constant. Press release the test button. If the engine does not miss, the vehicle test meter does not display display pass. To reduce the RPM to normal idle, check the W3 connection ignition adapter. If you repeat this step, the vehicle test mirror still fails to display pass, replace with the simplified testing equipment and ignition combustion tests it. If the engine misses with the vehicle test mirror displays pass, perform the power test. Performing a power test, dial 13 on the test select switch. If you press the test button, wait for the prompt message of the SIP to appear. If the SIP appears, press down sharply on the accelerator, hold it to the floor until the engine stops. When the engine stops, number that will appear on the vehicle test mirror. This displayed number is a power test result. Our testing operation procedure of the SI. Power testing 13. Before running power test, the engine bring it to idle. Turn on 13 dial. Test select switch the test button. Press for the relief vehicle test. Remember the will display the SIP. And this is the signal to have the operator press the accelerator to the floor, hold it there, and vehicle test mirror monitoring engine during acceleration at the approximately 3,500 RPMs. Begin to interpret the ignition of the vehicle test mirror with weights 40 seconds to allow the engine to settle with allow the carburetor bowl to empty fill with at least once of the during the time of the engine speed. The monitor of the vehicle test. If the engine speed falls below the 1,600 RPMs, low message displayed. Test was aborted. Then end 40 seconds interrupting the stop. Then the engine is allowed to accelerate to 600 RPMs above the interrupted speed. While this is new speed is reached, the vehicle test mirror kills ignition entirely. The display of the percent rated power produced in the engine during the test. Your power test, the RPM second to test 12. The test is used only when vehicle ID is not used. The operating procedure is the same as the described in 3A above. The two set of the numbers are displayed first units RPM and the second in units of the RPM per second. Alright, to perform the test of the M151A2, remove the plug from the top of the distributor, install the ignition adapter, and then tighten the place of the removed plug. Connect the red clip lead with the ignition adapter cable to W3 adapter. Connect the black clip lead to W3 good ground. Perform the test of M880, connecting the red clip on the ignition adapter to W3 election control unit discharge. Election control / distributor. Terminal ignition control connect the back lead over the W3 good ground. Once the connection has been made, perform the vehicle test mirror with the given general setup and check about procedures described in Lesson 1, Task 2, Paragraph 7A, page 12 prior to doing the test. So you start at current first peak, the next goes to chain, that goes to end, start with the current first peak test. For the procedure for the test will be described Lesson 1, Task 2, Paragraph 8B on page 16, therefore they will be not repeated here. Engine starting lubrication, check the procedure step, tests go to 4, engine start lubrication will be covered. Caution, check the oil level before starting the engine. Warning, do not remove the radiator cap when the engine is hot and wait until the engine cools. Alright, to begin the test, check all the fluid level, check the oil level, to add oil level necessary, remove the radiator cap, to check the coolant level, and the coolant is necessary for the battery, electrolyte level, to distill the water necessary. Next, dial the 10 test select switch of the test button. Try to start the engine. Does the engine crank? Start the engine. Does not start. Did the engine crank? If the engine does not crank, turn the engine switch off. Do not proceed to the no-go test warning. If the no-go start, and if the engine cranks but it does not start, proceed to the test procedure. Engine cranking, no start, no-go 10. If the engine cranks, start, then check the vehicle oil pressure gauge with the minimum oil pressure specified in vehicle TM. The oil pressure above the minimum specified in the TM. If the oil of the pressure is not above the minimum specified in the TM, stop the engine. Proceed with the low oil pressure. Check the go to 5. If the oil pressure is above the minimum listed TM, does the generator read normally? If the generator indicator does not read normally, proceed with the go 5. The charging circuit of the battery voltage check. If the generator indicator does not read normal, check all the other vehicle gauges with proper reading. Do all the gauges show the normal or proper readings? If they do, proceed with the go 5. Charging circuit of the battery voltage check. If the gauge does not read normally, did the gauge stay at 0? Immediately go to the full scale of the engine will started. If the gauge did not stay at 0, immediately go to the full scale. Refer to the vehicle TM, locate the correct problem. No, after completing repairs, return the go chain test, verify the problem has corrected, then no other problem exists. If the gauges stay at 0 or immediately go to full scale, proceed to no-go 31 gauge test, troubleshoot gauge. Alright, charging circuit battery voltage test to begin with the engine RPM must set with adjusted speed with the fast owl with the return of the vehicle with the headlight with the accessory on. Load charging system. Next measure for the battery voltage dialing 67. The test select switch pressing releasing the test button with the display. Verify the battery voltage within the limits specified with the vehicle TM. If the battery voltage is not within the limits or if the low is referred to the TM with the procedure following with the continuation. Trouble with the problem with the voltage within limit of the generator indicate with the go the gauge does not read normally. Refer refer to the vehicle TM, troubleshoot the generator indicating wiring. If the generator gauge reads normally, turn off the lights and accessories. Proceed to go 606 engine warming coolant, check oil pressure test procedure performing to this test TM 94910571112 and P no go 220. No crank, no start. Begin the test with the try of the crank, pressing the starting switch. Listen to the starter. If the starter motor sounds like it's running overspeed, if the starter does not sound like it is running overspeed, if the sound buzzes, hums, or clicks, etc., there is no sound. Proceed with the starter circuit with the no-go 80 with the TM 94191057112P. If the starter motor sounds like it's running overspeed, check with the teeth of on the flywheel. Refer to the vehicle TM. Remove the starter motor. Check the missing damaged teeth on the flywheel. After all the teeth of the flywheel good, if they are notified, intermediate direct support means if the teeth are good, refer to the vehicle TM. Replace the starter of the motor, starter solenoid. After completing repairs, return to the go chain test. Verify that the problem has been solved with no other problems. No go 31 gauge test. Start checking the gauge needle with turning the ignition switch on the off, and then tap on the gauge lightly. Verify with the gauge needle result resting all the way left with the power off. If it does for the gauge read all the way with the left. If it does for the prefer with the vehicle TM, to replay with the gauge and check with the wiring with the gauge and sending unit. After completing with the repair from the go chain test, verify that after the problem is fixed, no other problem exists. If the gauge does not read all the way with the left, install the test probe cable to connect the P1 test probe cable to W2 to J4 with the vehicle test me with the short red black clip leads together and do the test problem. Probes effective dial 89 test select switch press and hold test button until the calibration message as appears in the display. Release the test button, wait for the offset to appear with the display. If the offset value is within negative 6.8 to negative positive 6.8, if the offset is not within these limited simplified test equipment, internal combustion test set is bad and needs to be replaced with the offset values within these limited, isolate with the fault with the sending unit on the gauge. Remove the connector sending unit of the vehicle with the connector, the braided clip with the lead with the W2 with the center conductor with the connector. Remove the sending unit, connect with the black clip, lead with the ground pressure test button while turning vehicle ignition switch on with the vehicle test meter to indicate the bottom battery voltage. Vehicle test meter does indicate the battery voltage. Refer to the vehicle TM. Placing sending unit, vehicle test meter does not indicate the battery voltage. Refer to the vehicle TM to check the isolate faulty wiring, housing, harnessing, engaging. Remember to rerun the go chain test to verify the problem is fixed or no other problems exist. Alright, the no-go 80 start circuit test. While cranking the engine with a bad discharge battery problem, the vehicle test motor lose power to come on again and after change charges. Crank it, stop display, double 4 dashes. This occurs in clean battery post, clean clamps. Try again. If the vehicle test measure still loses power, connect the vehicle test meter power to the good batteries in another vehicle. Perform volume test using the test power cable W2. Our current probe offset. Turn all the vehicle electrical power dial 74 with the test switch with the press the hold of the test button with the calibrated passage appear with the display with the reach the test button. Wait for the offset value to appear on the display with the offset value is not within negative 225 to 225, positive 225 for the TM 94910571112P with the faulty isolation procedure. Alright, be sure ignition adapter cable to W3 with the connect with the show with the GO2 with the hook up with the W3 the cable with the page 277 with the TM 949105712P with the during the 7th of the vehicle test me the display labels the ignition to keep the engine starting. Start circuit resistant. Next to check with the start circuit with the resistant, press with the test button with the go appear with the vehicle test me the display with the attempt to crank the engine with the stop and the crank of the engine vehicle test me displays off with the error measure for the number to display between 8 and 350 milliohms. The number of the star of the circuit resistance of the resistant is within the range specified of the vehicle TM. The problem is due to either the weak batteries tight in the engine. Proceed the battery resistance test number no-go 81. If the number is not displayed, refer to TM 94910571112P. Starting circuit. No check with the starting current, and this is done by the dialing 90 with the test selection switch. Press the test button, crank the engine, check to see whether the starter current is above 50 amps. Starter current is above 50 amps. Error message for E013 display. Refer to TM 94910571112P. And procedure: install the test probe cable by connecting P1 to the test probe cable W2 to do J4 with the vehicle test meter shorting the red, black, and clips lead together. Your test probe cable offset. Now perform the test probe cable to offset with the first dial with the 89 test select switch. Press the hold of the test button until the calibrated message appears with the display with the offset value is now within limits of the 6.8 to positive 6.8. Simplified test equipment and internal combustion test set is bad and need to replace the offset value within the limits of the check with the starter voltage. Starter voltage 5. Being with the contacting the back clip, leave with the negative battery terminal, the red clip, leave with the positive terminal, the starter mode, press the test button, crank the engine while observing the display with the starter voltage is above 17 volts, a 24 volt system, the 8.5 volts or the 12 volt system. Check the start with a negative voltage drop. Start negative voltage drop. With the first move of the red clip, leave with the ground terminal with the starter motor with the dial 89 with the test switch, selector switch, press the test button, crank the engine with the observer the display voltage. The display voltage is now within half a volt or less. Proceed to the battery compartment to the negative side of the voltage. Check the no-go 121 display voltage of the half volt less. Refer to vehicle TM to replace the starter motor if the starter voltage is not with above 17 volts for a 24 volt system or 8.5 volts for a 12 volt system. Check the starter solenoid voltage. The starter solenoid voltage. Move the red clip lead with the positive terminal start solenoid roof foot switch dial 89 into the test switch. Select switch. Press the test button. Crank the engine. Observe the displayed voltage. The starter solenoid voltage is 18 volts of the M15182, 9 volts for the M880, and the starter circuit resistance high. Proceed with the battery compartment positive side voltage drop. The number no-go 120. If the go message is displayed with the check of the starting circuit is resistance test, check of the switch communication connections wiring to the solenoid or foot switch. If they're all okay, replace the solenoid and foot switch. If the display voltage is not 18 volts over the M1582 or 9 volts of the M800, check the battery voltage when cranking. Battery voltage dial 67 on the test select switch and press the test button, crank the engine, observe the display voltage. If the voltage is above 9.5 for the M880, above 19 volts for the M151A2, and proceed the battery test, no-go 81 for the correct voltage indicate, check the switches, wiring connection, starting solenoid for the switch, repair necessary, refer to TM949 1057112 and P page 2 199 for the procedure for the performing no-go battery test. Alright, your no-go 120 battery compartment positive side voltage drop checks. Refer to the vehicle TM voltage drop of the battery compartment to check the voltage drop across the solenoid, all cable connection, power with the tab with the starter circle, the procedure outlined with the paragraph, sub-paragraphs to follow each of the voltage drop test. Check. Your test probe cable offset short with the clip lead with the cable with the W2 with together with the dial the 89 with the test select switch with the press and hold of the test buttons with the calibrated message appear with the display. Refer to the test button, wait for the offset value to appear with the displayed. If the offset value is within limits of negative 6.8 to 6. Positive 6.8, the offset value is not within these limits, then the simplified equipment and internal combustion test set is bad and needs to be replaced. If the offset value is within the limits, measure the voltage drop. Connect the clip lead with the W2 across the probe with the measure pressure. Press the test button to press the starter switch, compare with the voltage drop appearing on the readout display with the specific given vehicle TIM. If the voltage drops are not available, the drop across the connection should not be within 1/10 of a volt, or the drop across the cable should be less than 2/10 of a volt. Remedying defect, refer to vehicle TM to repair the replace the defective parts. Remember the rerun the go chain test to verify that the problem is fixed. No other problems exist. Alright, no-go 121 battery component on negative side with the voltage drop. Check with the procedure here is identical with the procedure for the performing no-go 120. Battery check positive side voltage drop. Check with the described in paragraph I1 in lesson 2 task 1 on the previous page. K number no-go 60 charging circuit warning turning off the vehicle. Turn the vehicle engine off. To begin with the test, proceed with the install of the current probe. This is done by clamping the current probe around the output wire of the alternator and generator. Equip the vehicle with the output wire from the regulator point with the arrow of the probe away from the alternator regulator due to the current probe offset. The current probe offset test by turning off all the vehicle electrical power dial 90 with the test switch. With the press of the whole test button with the calibrated message appear with the display with the leaf of the test button. Wait for the offset value with the appear with the test display. If the offset value is not between the negative 205 and the positive 205, refer to TM 20 TM For the offset fault inspect isolation procedure, if the offset value is within the limit, check for the charge system output current. Charging system output current. This is accomplished by starting the vehicle engine, turning off the vehicle lights, and the engine speed of the first fast idle with the pressing test button with compared with the number of the display with the output current. Specification listing vehicle item equipment TM. If the current is below limited, specify the output current is greater than specified vehicle TM. Use the current probe to locate the accessory drawing. Set the current. If the current is going with the battery, check the electrolyte level of specific gravity. Refer to the vehicle TM now. To make necessary repairs. If the output current is below the list specified, shut off the engine headlights, check the driver belts, refer to the vehicle TM4. The procedure checking alternator generator drive belts for proper tension. The drive belts are not okay with refer to the vehicle TM for the procedure adjusting replace the drive bolts. If the drive belts are okay, voltage regulator is not built into the alternator generator vehicle with a 100 amps generator. Refer to the vehicle TM for the further tests. If the vehicle does not have the 100 amp generator, leave the current probe. Connect with the vehicle. Test me if the proceed with the install current probe. Do not do offset. The offset test described in paragraph 3b in the lesson 1 task 2. Page 9 step will be covered in paragraph K4 or below. If the voltage regulator is built with the alternator generator, refer to vehicle TM. Observe the warning and caution notes below. Warning: disconnect the battery ground cable to prevent short. And caution: the alternator is closed into the exhaust manifold. Do not allow the cable to probe the contact of the hot metal; they may melt. Install test probe cable to done with removing the axis of the cover except for the output terminal alternator generator connecting P1 of the test probe, the W2 to J4 vehicle test meter shorting the red-black keep the leads together. Perform test probe cable offset, but this is done by reconnecting the battery ground, dialing 89 the test select switch, pressing the holding test button until the calibrated message appears on the display. Release test button, wait for the offset value to appear on the display. If the offset value is between 6.8 to positive 6.8 of the system simplified testing equipment, internal combustion engine is bad and needs to be replaced. Alright, if the offset value between these limited check of the charging system output voltage first connect the red lead to the output terminal with the alternate generator output terminal with the largest wire connected to it. The next to connect the black clip the lead to the ground, start the vehicle engine, turn on the vehicle lights, accessories, set the engine speed as fast idle. Press the test button, compare the reading against the vehicle test meter with the output voltage specification vehicle TM. The output voltage within the limit specified, refer to the TM vehicle, the repair bad connection, broken cables, and charging system output and ground circuits. The code chain test of the complete repair of the verify that the problem is solved and no other problems exist. If the output voltage is not within the limit specified, check for the ignition sensing output, but refer to the vehicle test cards to disconnect the voltage sensing wire from the alternator generator, connect the black lead to the ground, connect the red clip lead to the ignition side of the sensing wire. Turn the ignition switch and check the reading display to see if it is near the battery voltage. If the reading of the display is near the battery voltage, refer to vehicle TM. Place alternator and generator. If the reading is not near the battery voltage, stop the engine, turn off the headlights, all accessories, disconnect the battery ground, reinstall all access cover to the alternator, reconnect the battery ground, refer to the vehicle TM, repair bad connection broken wires from ignition switch to the alternator generator. Now install the current probe. Form offset test. This ignition switch off. Install the current probe around the field wire of the alternator generator. Turn off the vehicle and electrical power. Dial 90 to test select until the calibrated appears for the display. Refer to the test button. Wait for the offset value to appear on the display. If the offset value is between negative 225 positive 225, refer to the TM vault isolation procedure. If the offset value is within specified limit, check with the field with the current starting with the vehicle engine setting with the engine speed fast out with the headlights on the press for the test button number display with the negative number, remove the probe, reposition according to the procedure presented earlier. Paragraph 33, paragraph K. This task is reinstall the probe with the arrow pointing the other way. Repeat previous test, compare number of the vehicle test meter display within the field current test. Specification listed in vehicle technical manual. Note the current probe must be at least 10 inches from the alternator generator. If the value display greater than the limit specified within, then refer to the vehicle. Place the alternator and generator. If the value displayed no greater than the limit specified, turn the headlights off and shut off the vehicle engine and refer to vehicle TM with the troubleshooting procedure. See the alternator generator field circuit field cable and regulators. Our lesson 2, correcting performance tests and faulty installation procedures on gasoline and diesel engines. This one, identify the correct procedure performing tests on faulty diesel engines. Task 2. We're going to cut the tape there.